Okay.
I think it'll run fine.
So what are your
It'll be
plans,
fine.
Nino, if you don't win tomorrow?
I am moving into better pastures.
Mm-hmm.
I've struck a deal with Bolingbrook. I mean, working on a technology company. I mean, migrating some of my software engineers over in Bolingbrook and working on a new product line, new cell phones,
Huh.
tablets, new e-commerce platforms, all for
Interesting.
cheap. You're probably seeing some of it being discussed over at Bolingbrook, the H1 Bolingbrook visas for the lifers that work hard and aspire to be released.
Is that it?
Is something like that.
Hmm.
You see, innovation distinguishes between a leader and a follower. And I want to put a ding in this universe.
What has
All said and
Nino?
done, I'm looking forward to the future. And, but there are some things I wanted to discuss with you.
Okay.
In the event I do win mayorship, I am going to need to bring some accountability
I love
to
his
the
fit
police
change.
department. But before I go into that, I want to understand from your perspective, and you're not the only member of command that I'm going to be speaking with, but I do want your opinion on this. How do I bridge the gap between the department and the people of Los Santos County? Because I do not believe that the police department as a organization knows what accountability is.
Well, I think part of the problem is when something happens, like the situation you mentioned yesterday, right? How are they ever going to know something was done, right? Obviously, we can't tell them, like, hey, this happened to you and somebody was suspended. This happened and somebody was fired. I mean, it shouldn't be happening. That's mistakes happen, but the biggest thing is that should have never happened, right?
I stopped the police department from being mag dumped last night, ambushed multiple times over.
What, because of one of these situations?
Mm-hmm. Because I said you need to be bigger than that. Obviously, the police department's not going to hear
But
any of it.
it's an internal thing, you guys. You
probably think I'm
can't share
on their side.
punishments like that. No
It would have been
jobs
a
do
shit
that.
show yesterday, and I can promise you that.
I mean,
However,
I don't know.
the next day,
Yeah.
I'm a little disappointed that I cannot even get a, like, sort of a, even a semblance. Like, yeah, last night, I spoke to Stevie, I spoke to Craig, and they seemed like, uninterested, right? I spoke to
Leaking.
others, the chief and the ass chief. Please keep this between us, right? I'm trying to get some advice with the degree. And I didn't really, I think what I said landed on deaf ears. All I want, and I feel like this is the hardest, all the ask is communication. Communicate it. Have someone write a statement.
Yeah, like maybe a briefing to the community, like we're aware of things that have happened over the last few days. We want to let you guys know that, we're working on doing better every day. Like maybe something like at the end of the day, right, some type of communication to let them know, while we can't tell you what the outcome is of what happened, we can let you know that we know and that we're going to do our best to make sure it never happens again. Right?
Yeah. Otherwise, as someone that interfaces with all of these gangs, right, and civilians, that I want at some point someone to be able to put the do they shoot people? Yes. Do they kill people? Yes. Do they rob people? Yes. But
yeah, why do
this
we not have press
force,
conferences,
right, that
newspapers and
is
shit?
inherently against the police department, if they are left thinking
We
that
need a
the
media
PD
outlet to
doesn't
go
actually
to, like,
care
put
what
out these
happened
things.
yesterday, and that is actually acceptable, then you are going to get
not.
more violence coming to you, right?
I agree.
Beyond the right and wrong.
Well, I think first, like we just talked about, there needs to be a briefing within 24 hours of the shit happening. And then there needs to be something released in the newspaper specifying the announcement, like, right, referring back to police came forward today and spoke about this, you know, just to.
This situation happened with this. We are not, this is not how we do things. You know, internal actions have been taken, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it doesn't even need to go into specifics.
Yeah.
Like,
No, I
there's
think
not even so much of like a drop of like, let's think about how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest, it sounds like to me that there's just a lot of fuck these people that aren't cops.
No,
because that's how it comes across to me.
I don't think people in my side are thinking, how do we communicate this to the city and the people that we're, you know, protecting and serving, right? We're not thinking past, let's not fuck up again, and let's make sure the people know how they fucked up and why they shouldn't fuck up again. We're not thinking past that right now. And I'm not saying anybody's to blame for that. That's just, we're not. But we are.
That's how you have been traditionally programmed.
Right.
And you're right. I think the paradigm needs to shift. It's very tough for me because I have to play the man in the middle, right? I have to defend the PD when I'm talking to non-PD and vice versa. Not in any way to say who's right and who's wrong, but to play the fucking city therapist.
Right.
Trying to convince mom and dad to fucking talk. Instead, they just want to fucking throw things at each other.
Right. Well, do you think that putting out some type of announcement about, not announcement, but you know, like host something, pref conference, right? And then having something put in the local paper.
Hey, I'm at the court center. I'll give you a call in a bit. I'm in a meeting.
Because
yeah,
at least they'll know that we're acknowledging something bad happened. And we're aware that people are in an uproar over it. Without even mentioning like the gang involved or the people, specific names, right? Just
I agree. I think a press conference is good. I think an alternative and even a first step is that somebody in the PD, right? You guys write reports all day. Like, even if you chat GPT'd like a half a page letterheaded thing and you post it on Twitter, right, as a picture and just retweet it all, even that is reasonable because you're accepting responsibility as law enforcement for something that should not have been done. You're explaining what steps are going to be taken, what action was took. And at that point, at least you have at that point a leg to stand on. Because now you're putting the ball into the court of the criminal. When you don't do that, you come across as criminals yourselves.
Now, did you explain that to other people today? And you don't, like, I'm confused. Is that not?
There's too much defensive energy. And I think that's the inherent nature of how a lot of officers may have been brought up, is that they're to think beyond that there is a right party and a wrong party, but rather most parties tend to be wrong.
Right.
But then there's some right in between there. It's just like whether like states are.
I think it would be really good to have somebody for public relations and have them post the shit.
I think that'd be great. Perfect winner and a perfect loser.
We could just
But
get
what
them the
there
memo and
is an
boom, put it out, put it
understanding
out.
of the other side and attempting to communicate.
Well,
But I don't think most
mhm.
in San Andreas, especially in the police department, may be able to understand that concept, at least not in a way that's been conveyed to me that there's been an understanding.
Hmm.
You know, in fact, I feel like usually when I bring up these concerns to the police department, I feel like I'm coming across as the quote unquote criminal mayor's here coming to bitch at the cops.
But I don't.
It's sounding like bitching because there's no give. It's only take. Or like just the not wanting to do anything, right?
I don't see why anybody would have a problem with doing what we just talked about. I just don't understand if that's something that's going to inform the community that we're aware of things happening and that we're doing our best to correct the situations, why it's a problem. I think, you know what I feel like? I feel like I think a lot of people are overworked and to the point of they're just, like they're sinking, but they're still treading, but they're starting to get tired, right? But I don't know why, because while I do a lot of things, I think you have to just remember, like, we're human and we can only do so much. And, like, I don't know. I feel like people harbor a lot of feelings that they should be getting over towards certain things. That makes sense. Like, I don't
I
hold
agree.
on to a lot of the bullshit because we can't control it, but we can turn around and try to make it better, right? To make it I don't believe in going out and firing everybody for making mistakes. I believe pointing it out, correcting it, making sure it doesn't happen again. That's number one. But I do know that somebody talked to me about the community wants to hear what the PD has to say. The community wants to talk to the PD. They want transparency. We can only give you so much, right? Because then otherwise, we're giving you information we shouldn't be giving you, right? But hosting something once a month or whatever where the community can ask us questions, command and high command, I feel would benefit the relations between both. I had an officer come up to me today upset. He's like, I don't know what the fuck's going on. I can't even pull up to people and say, hey, what's up without being told, fuck you, go fuck yourself. And I'm like, really? Because
yes.
So you know what I told him? Why don't you let me ride in your car? Because I'm going to be honest, people don't do that shit to me. I have seen people like that. I had a guy come at me hot today, and I came back at him hot. I said, you want to put a fucking low jack on my car? If you think I'm traveling around your neighborhood, by God, do it, And then next, we're talking about Russia. So, I don't know what it is. If it's just the rapport this officer has with people, or maybe he just happened to catch one or two people in a shit mood. But I don't really see that all the time. I really don't.
I